So my dears, I am beyond delighted to introduce you to a Christmouse tale. This is a book nook, and it's a printable papercraft that I have innovated and brought into the papercrafting arena. Wait till you have a look at this. So we've got a book, a Christmouse tale. We've got a spine here, and we've got a back page of the book. We've got at the top here, we've got all the book pages, and the bottom is the same. And then this is where the magic happens. If you nestle this between books on your bookshelf, you have got this 3D scene of all these beautiful mice. But that is not all. No, it is not all, because it lights up. Look at that. Now this is a bright light, this is daylight, this is in my studio, I'm in a brightly lit space, but you get that in between a load of books in a more dimly lit environment, and that is really going to come onto its own and look fantastic. It's deceptively simple to make. You will need some little fairy lights. This is what mine look like. They measure 2 inches by 1 inch by 1/4 of an inch. You've got a little pocket on the back here that houses your battery pack, and you can turn your lights on and off quite simply there. And if that isn't enough, which it clearly isn't, because I always like to go 10 steps further, you can open that top, you can open this bottom, and you can squash your book nook flat. These will then fold out of the way like this, giving you an actual foldable, mailable item. And that was key in the design for this piece here. And I'm thinking I'm going to have many more to follow. I've got mermaids, I've got witches, I've got fairies, I've got so much going on. So these tabs, it folds flat. These tabs tuck inside. This tab tucks in between 2 layers in its own secret little pocket. And the same on the bottom. And that forms your 3D, very solid, feels very rigid, feels very, very good form. And when you want to either store it or mail it, you can do just that. Come along with me, let's see how we make it. I'm delighted, chuffed to bits. Another innovation that I am really, really excited for. This is my first one. This is the Christmas mice. I've got lots of Christmas mice on the go this year, but I can see me making many, many more of these with lots of different designs. Let's have a look at how I make it. I've got my bits and bobs cut out, and I'm going to just talk you through the kit before we begin. This is your front cover, and you need one of these. You don't need to reverse print it. This is page 2, and it is your the other side of your cover, and you don't need to reverse print that one. These go on the inside, and they're matting panels, and you need to print 2 of those. They're page 3. They don't need reverse printing. Page 4 is, I've got myself in the wrong order here. Page 4 is your front panel and your spine, and you need to print 1 of those, and you need to reverse print that with page 9. Page 5 is the top and the bottom of your book to look like these lined paper pages. You need to reverse print that with page 9. They come like that on the sheet. Then we've got page 6, which is this one, reverse printed with page 9. Then we've got page 7, reverse printed with page 9. And we've got page 8, reverse printed with page 9. Now I'm on 250 gram throughout. Yay, I love my 250 gram, as you may know. And these pages here, you're going to slice down the middle. So you've got 3 of those to slice, and then you've got some scoring to do to make tabs out of these white areas here. So I'll go ahead and do all of that. Plus I'm going to score this here where the black lines are, and I'm going to score this here. Might be a little difficult to see on these 2 long edges, but you can see where the angled parts meet the straight parts. You're going to score a box shape in the middle there. So you've got 2 of those. These we're leaving alone, and these we're leaving alone. Oh, and also what you're going to need, if you want to illuminate your book nook, which you don't have to, you're going to need some of these. Now, these are from Amazon. I've got a pack of 6. You can get more, and I do believe you can get less as well. Don't worry about the brand name. I've seen these under all sorts of different brands, and they measure 2 inches by 1 inch by 1/4 of an inch. And that's what we're going to tuck into our little pocket to illuminate our book nook. It's light in here, but as you can see, they're still good. And what I've also done, these come as 2 metre lengths, and the lights are quite far apart for what we need. So what I've done is I very carefully, because it's very thin wire, very carefully unravelled my 2 meters, and I folded it in half. So what I've got going on now is a light twice as close together, and that'll do for what we need. So if you're illuminating, grab yourself some of these. They're absolutely lovely. Right, I'll crack on. So I've done that. I've scored and folded all of my tabs on all of my panels to the back. I've got a whole pile of those. This is my rear panel. This is my spine. These are my top and my bottom of my box that I folded all of those. This is my gorgeous little pocket that my little battery pack is going to live in, and that is going to fit on the spine, and it's to the same scale. So I should be able to line that up quite nicely. Very, very pleased with that. Right, I'm going to deal firstly with these 2 pieces and also with my spine. So pop a seam of glue down each side of your spine on this little white tab here. Take one of these pieces, they're the same, doesn't matter which way up you get them or on which side. Line that up, pop it in place. Same with this one, and you have the basis of your folding book nook looking good. Let's move on to the panels. Now, because I'm a twit, I've given you tabs on this back panel here. You don't need them, so you can either go ahead and snip them off or glue them down onto the back here, which is what I'm doing because it's going to give me a nice extra little bit of rigidity, and why wouldn't I want a nice extra little bit of rigidity? So once you've snipped those off or folded and glued them over, you're going to glue this panel, making sure you've got it the right way up and you know which way the bottom is. You're going to glue all the way up, tiny little seam of glue up that very last bit, and you're going to allow a little area here that's unglued. In effect, you've made a little pocket here, and that is for one of these tabs to slide into. So a little seam of glue all the way, just right up to the very, very edge, as far out to the edge as you can, and give yourself a little pocket. And then get this bit of glue off there, make sure that we've got this the right way around. And you can glue your back panel in place. And there they are, our little family of Victorian mice posing for the Victorian family photo. I love that. There we go. And this piece here is going to slot in. When we're done, it is going to slot in here. And if you've glued too far in, which I have, and that is fine, I've got a little hack for that I'll show you. But I am also going to just pop something in here. So I'm sure to keep at least this piece nice and open. Shouldn't use my tag, really. I should use a piece of scrap. Let's take our first, or rather our last panel, which is this one here. Let's do them in order. And then we have this one. Looks lovely already, doesn't it? And then we've got this one. And then we've got this one, and then we've got this one. If in any doubt, they stagger down and down and down. I am so excited about this, guys. So excited. So we'll take our last one and we're going to apply a seam of glue to this edge. And I'm going to take it nice and slowly with this make, because I'm also going to be working out how I'm going to put my illuminated lights on. And I need to be making holes in these panels, so I don't want to run ahead of myself. So this panel is going to line up with this edge here. If you go slightly over that edge, that's fine, and you cover up the black line then, which is absolutely fine. Just make sure you keep that nice and straight. There we go. And you're going to repeat that with the next one. Now, as I go, like I say, I haven't run a prototype on how I'm going to put these little illuminated lights in. So I would suggest that you watch this part of the video rather than craft along. Watch it first. Wait to see if I come up with an easier way to do this as I go. And then you won't be frustrated with me for designing on the hoof, as it were. But I know I want to put all of these guys in, and like I said, I'm going to be making some holes. I did consider using my crocodile to make those holes, but I think I'm going to make them with a pointy tool with my brad awl. Because I don't want big holes, and I may want to put them where my crocodile doesn't reach. I don't have a big bite. So there, that's my second one. Third one is this one here. So lining it up. Goes ever so slightly over the line, but making sure it's nice and straight. I'm getting a little bit gluey in the process. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's have a look. Dun, 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 dun. They look great, don't they? Look at that. That's got some real depth to it. Make sure I don't bend me little angel mouse's trumpet there. And next up is this one. Play some Christmas music, couldn't I? I know a lot of people chat all over their videos. And I'm sometimes a bit chatty, I'm sometimes chatty, a little. But I'm focused, I'm concentrating very hard on what I'm doing. And then the last one is this one that's going to go right at the front. Now I'm going to do exactly the same thing with and glue this. I can open this way. I'm sorry if you can hear something like white noise. It's not white noise, it's my computer fan working overtime because I've been working it so hard. There we go. And that's the last piece there. Now, if you are not, I've got a bit of a mess going on mine there. Ignore that, we won't see it in the end. If you are now, just make sure everything's lining up. You can close this up. You can amend the position of this one slightly if you need to bring it in just a tad. There's no harm in doing that, so that when you close, yours all lines up nicely like that. Now I'm going to begin at the end with my lights. My Little pocket is going to sit here and it lines up with the number there. So I know for a start that I need a hole, and I'm going to mark this off with a pencil, I think. I'm going to need a hole right the way through my spine at, depending on whether I want my battery this way round or this way round. If I put it in the centre, I've hedged all my bets, haven't I? So I'm going to put a hole right through my spine about here. I'm going to check I've got nothing else in the way, move all my other pages out of the way, and I'm going to make a hole. I haven't looked to see where it's coming out the other side. Well, that's not bad at all. And now I just need to enlarge this hole so that it's big enough to allow me little lights through. And I don't quite know how big that is, so let's have a look. Where's the end of my lights? Oh, look at that. Absolutely perfect. It doesn't need to be any bigger than that. Brilliant. Right, so the lights themselves, like I said, I have unravelled mine very, very carefully because I don't want to break that very fine wire. And I'm folding my lights in half. So I'm going to take my last light and I'm going to attach it so that it's halfway between the battery pack and the first light. And I'm just going to do that with a little bit of tape. Now I would like to make it quite clear that I hate this sticky tape with a passion. It's cheap, and I thought, oh, that'll do ages ago, and it won't do. It's blooming horrible. And I wish I had some of that nice Scotch tape, that invisible tape, but I haven't got any, so I'm running with it. It's just so thin and you can never find the end of it. So there, my light is secure now, so I can go all the way up this wire and either twist it or just keep adding little bits of tape every now and again, or not. I might just deal with it as I go. So I'm just making sure that it is actually in half, chasing it all the way up, getting out any kinks that are in it whilst I still can. Look at that, it's such fine fiddly stuff. There we go, that'll do nicely. And then fold it in half. And this half, this end now, is going to come through the back of my awl. And I'm going to pull all of these lights through. I don't want to pop my battery pack on just yet. I don't want to pop my pocket on. I want to get this all sorted first. But I want that to sit there like that. Isn't that smashing? Let's check out my pocket over the top. So I put a little bit of tape down here on this spine area. And I'm going to go not all the way up to the top. I want this length of light to do as much work for me as it possibly can. So I'm not going to take it up to the top. I'm just going to take it over to, let me have a look, over to here. And I'm going to stick a little bit of tape. Oh, there. Doesn't matter if I go onto my folding area at all. There, keep your light actually in the spine area though, although your tape can go over. And then I'm going to bring this light around and down. So a little bit more tape. Trying to be as economical with these lights as I can be, because I want them to reach as far as they can throughout the book. I mean, you don't have to double yours up if you don't want to. You can just keep going with them around, but I felt that I wanted my lights to be a little bit closer together. So keep your sellotape out of sight. There we go. And I've already made my hole here because I've already been around this once and decided that I needed to be a bit more economical. That's why I've already got a hole here. I've just made a hole by being very careful with my fingers and pushing through like that. And then this is going to go through here. Come on. There we go. Hide my wires. If I can see any wire there, I can always add a little bit more tape from my horrible roll. It's trying its best to lose the end already. It always does that. It's one of the reasons I hate it so much. So you can snick your little wires out of the way, hide them out of the way. There. And again, I'll pop a little bit more tape there. Do you think it's my attitude towards the tape that's the problem? Maybe if I came at the tape with a more positive attitude, I might get a better result. Let's go for it. Tape, you are beautiful. Look at you there. I don't know what to say about it. Right, this one is going to go through another hole, which I've already made here. Again, take your pokey tool, very careful just to go through this area here. Make your hole big enough for your little lights to go through. There. So I lost camera again. I've taken my wires up this hinge side. I've kept them on the hinge side. Doesn't matter if I put sellotape over where they fold, but I'm keeping my lights just to this hinge side. I'm being as economical as I can as I travel around this shape here. And that's where I got to when I realised that the camera had cut out. So we can keep going. Bring it back around with a little bit of tape, and I'm going to make another hole. Where do I want to make it? About here, close to the inside. I love how the pokey tool is just the right size to allow these lights through. There we go, feed those through, fold this page. And now then, I haven't got much left. So I need to make a decision about how I'm going to cope with this. If I've got enough, oh, I haven't got enough to loop that like that. That would have been clever. So I'm going to pop a little bit of tape down here. Take this straight across. You can fiddle about, obviously, and make your own configuration of lights if you've got something that's going to work better for you. Now I can either run that up there or I can run it down across the bottom, and I think I'm going to run it down like this. It seems a better use of what I've got left. A little bit of tape there, and then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to finish there. And I think that will work very, very well for me. There we go, and hopefully those lights are hidden, or as hidden as they possibly can be, and everything still folds nicely. Of course, I've got the depth of my battery pack at the back there now, but that should work just fine. Shall we go for it, guys? Shall we actually glue these down now? Go on, I'm living on the edge as I do this. Let's glue. I'm going to glue all of these tabs, let those go tacky, bring this piece down. There we go then, my glue is on. It should be a little bit tacky now. This is tricky. So now I'm going to put this piece flat down over the top, say 3 Hail Marys. Thank the sellotape very, very much for doing such an excellent job at gluing my lights in place. And then I'm going to turn this over a little bit so I can press around my battery pack. And here we go, guys, here we go. Now I have spent a sleepless night designing this kit, and I know it's all going to work, I know it is, but this is the absolute moment of truth. Let's do it, let's do it. When we lift this section up, there it is, there it is. Should we turn the lights on? Oh my god, oh my god. I'm on a bit of a trapezoid type of angle. I'll tell you what we can do, which is always a good idea. Squash it down the other way as well. That will really help. Nice and gently, nice and gently. Everything should just fit beautifully and there shouldn't be any problems. There we go. Look at that. Let's turn the lights on. I'm so excited. Ah, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we've got an illuminated book nook. How absolutely insanely fabulous is that? I am so excited. I'm so pleased. Ah! The sleepless night was worth it. Look at that. And our wires are nicely hidden. I can only just see them just a tiny, tiny little bit, and I'm not looking at them at all. And of course it's daytime. This is bright light. Let's look at it. Right, let's tackle the little pocket for the battery pack, which is here. I've given myself just a little bit of play with this wire here. I didn't want to take it tight and have nowhere to be able to move that little battery pack too. So I've got a pocket here. I've got a pocket with gussets, and they are just exactly 1/4 of an inch, almost as if I knew what I was doing. So fold up your little box shape, pop your tabs on with some glue. Pop your tabs on with some glue is an actual sentence. I'm on a bit of a high, partly because of the glue. I'm kidding. And partly because of how amazing this is looking. Right, so I think I'm going to put this in place. I've got to be able to get this out, haven't I? Didn't consider that, because we've got a screw there. I haven't allowed myself enough to be able to take this out. Oh well, it's a one. Okay, so I'm going to pop my little battery pack down in here, in place, line up my book there, and just see how that's looking. Can I get to it to turn it on? This is the big question, and the answer is yes, I can. Yeah, that pocket isn't too deep at all. If you want to trim just a little bit off your pocket at the top, you can do, but I can get in there to turn that on quite easily. Right, brilliant. So I can glue that down in place. Now, getting to replace these batteries is a whole other ball game. I haven't allowed for that. So I think as and when, if and when you get to that point, I think you're going to have to bear it in mind that you're going to have to take off this battery pack very carefully. Obviously you'll rip the paper, but if you do it carefully, you can do it underneath, and you can replace this pocket, or even, and because this is a folding structure, we want to be able to fold it when it's complete. We want to be able to mail it perhaps. If you don't, you can glue all of your sections in place. If you want yours to be a permanent structure to never fold, then you can glue all of these and glue them where they need to be, but I want mine to fold, and for the purposes of the video and to show you guys how this thing fits together as a folding structure that you can mail or store, in fact, I'm going with this. Now, how am I best to do this, guys? I'm gluing this area, this tab, and sticking it onto the top of my box, bringing my box up, which is way too close to the camera for anybody's comfort now. But that's working fine, and I'm going to do the same with the bottom. Is there any merit in me putting the bottom one on the opposite side? No, I don't think there is. There may be, for structurally there may be, but I'm going with this side. Keep it a little bit simple. So seam of glue along there. Stick this on. Check that it folds as it should, around to 90 degrees. And then it's all looking okay, which it is. Check this one out as well. That's looking good. Right, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. Right, here we are now then. Do you remember at the beginning when we didn't glue? Why have I got a piece of sellotape running down here? That's stuck on by itself. How very annoying. Thankfully it's rubbish sellotape, so it comes off quite easily. Right, do you remember how we didn't glue all of this down? We left this little flap here, didn't we? But I know that we're not going to be able to get all of this flap tucked in that space there, because the idea behind these flaps is that they are all going to tuck in. This one is going to tuck around the front. This one is going to tuck between the back of the book here, and this one is going to tuck down that little space we left in the hinge. But there's a bit too much going on in these corners, and I always knew there would be. So what we're going to do is take a pair of scissors, snip in just a little way, we can always do more, and take a little bit out like that on an angle, and do that on both sides where you're going to go into the hinge. And we're going to look at this and adapt this for each of the sides that tuck in as we go around. So this piece now should now fit very nicely into that little section that we left before. That piece is going to tuck into the front. That doesn't need anything doing with it. If anything, you can take a little tiny bit of this section here, following these lines, so you still get the nice little tapered angle there. That will then tuck into that section, and now we need to glue the back on. So let's go ahead and do that. Right, you might be able to see on the video that mine is a bit of a gluey mess, and that's because I've done this once and I made a mistake, and I've taken it off and I'm starting again and I'm getting it right. So you do not have to make a mistake. Right, we're going to glue this back section on. This is the back of the book. We're obviously going to glue the front of the book where the front of the book would go. So this is the back section, and we want these two tabs here to slot down inside, in between this layer and this back section. So we need to make two little pockets to enable that to happen. So on this side at the top, I'm going to make a little pocket here. I'm going to allow a little bit unglued, just gluing the very ends as if we were making a pocket. The rest of it, you're going to come down, glue, 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 until you get to the bottom, and you're going to repeat that. You're going to make a little pocket at the bottom. So glue down the sides, a line across about an inch and a half down, something like that. And then you're going to glue this whole space in between. And even though mine's a bit tatty on the inside, nobody's ever going to see it. And only you and I will know. And then you can glue down your panel on the top here. Fold it, check it's looking good. A little bit of white space showing. If I'm going to have a little bit of white space showing, I'd rather it be at the back. So squidge this along just a little. Now then, do you remember at the beginning we left a gap, didn't we? We left a similar pocket in between this back section and the spine. Now I've already done it on this section, so you can, if you want to, because there's a lot going on in that corner there, snip just a little tiny bit out there and follow that angled line there, so you've got a little bit of space, a little bit of room for that section to fit in between those two layers. But what I have discovered is that it doesn't need to do that. It will tuck down quite happily just inside. You're not going to see it anyway. This does the same. Again, if you want to allow a little bit of space, little snip there to give yourself a bit more room for that to tuck in. So tuck in the front and the back. You can just tuck those on into the inside, and then this section here is going to go between your two layers. There we go. And again, if you need a little bit of room, which I know I do because I can see that that's lifting there, come along your top here, little snip on the other side as well, and then follow that line, that angled line. Give yourself a little bit of room at the edges, and then your front and your back can go inside, or this back section can go in between these two layers here, and this long flap is going in between those two layers. And once that goes like that, that holds really, really nicely. You've got the same thing going on here. You might want to give yourself a little bit of space with a snip and a snip on all of the corners. Just trim down this. I didn't want to do it to the original printables. I wanted you to have the freedom to see what's working for you and what isn't. So a little tiny end here for me. There we go, and the same again. I can tuck this one up into the inside. That's not stuck down very well for me, is it? I need a bit more glue on that panel there. So that's going on the inside. This one's going on the inside, and then this panel here, this tab here, is going between those two layers. And once it starts going down one edge, it goes down all of them, and it fits together beautifully. And there it is, apart from the front, of course. We glue that on, and the front can glue all on. You're not asking, because these tabs are already stuck on here, you're not asking them to fold down there in place. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I am beyond thrilled with my little book nook, and even though it's light outside and in my room, obviously, because I'm videoing, you can still see how great that's going to look in a little setting amongst some books. I'm chuffed to bits. I hope you love making this. I hope you feel so satisfied with yourself, so thrilled, and that you gift this and you mail it and you tell somebody how they need to stick it together, obviously, because that's important. I'm going to ink my edges, make sure I'm all glued down nicely. And then I am going to find a dark little spot in between some books, and I'm going to have a look at this in situ and take some photos of it and edit my video and be very, 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 very pleased with what I've created here and what I'm sharing with you. Have so much fun, guys. I hope you absolutely love this. This is, I think, going to be the first of many. I've kind of innovated this book nook idea and brought it into Papercrafts, and I do believe I'm the first person to have done that. So accept no imitation, and I will be back with more. Have great, great fun.